I'm Zach with the Quest for Greatness. I am trying to improve. I'm also trying to share this with you so I can be accountable to you, so you can improve. Whether you agree with my motivation or my direction, hopefully all of us are trying to become better. I will give you the why behind my motivation, the why I do what I do in the way that I live. And for me, it's God. It's Christianity. It's following Him. Everything in my life is based on that. And so that helps me define the term greatness too. You got to do that as well. You got to define the terms as far as your goals and where you want to be and where you want to get to. Today is just about relationship. Two aspects. See if we can cut it down. Two aspects of a solid relationship: talking and listening. If you're going to have a great relationship with your wife, your husband, your children, your parents, co-workers, friends, one of the biggest, if not the greatest key, is communication. Now, for me, in talking to those of you who are Christians, who are children of God, some of us are overlooking the basics. Maybe many of us are overlooking the basics, and we are complicating this walk with God. And we want it to be slick, and we want the experiences to be wonderful. And so we're going to try to dress it up, and we look like this business who has no real grounding or footing at times, and no real direction, but they got a smooth logo, and they got a slick mission statement, and they have wonderful employees, and they got this 2 and 5 and 10-year plan, but they don't even know what they're about. They don't even know what they're doing. Some of that sometimes reminds me of Christianity. We got all this stuff that's out on the peripheral, and many of us are lacking just a basic fundamental relationship with God. So two aspects. And for me, my whole success is based on this relationship with Him. Romans 8 tells me that He has adopted me, so I am a son to Him. You are sons or daughters. Jesus calls me family in Matthew chapter 12. Those who do the will of the Father, in Matthew 12, 48 through 50, are His family. So how am I going to, in my responsibility, how am I going to keep this relationship not just alive, but how am I going to thrive in it? And some of you wonder how others are thriving and how they go day to day, and they can just talk so much about spirituality and what it means to follow the Lord, and they can be zealous and lit on fire, it looks like, for God. How they can be so successful in their walk. And really, it just comes down to some of the basics. Communication. So the first is talking to God. I could go all over the Bible and show you different examples and show you commands and so forth. And you could treat it like a command. And if you do, you're never, ever going to get this right. It would be like just talking to your wife, or me just talking to my wife because I said vows in 1996, and so I have to talk to her every day. Wow, great. How honored would she be, right? Well, you can treat prayer like that and have the same relationship, essentially, just empty. Or you can look at 1 Peter chapter 5 and verse 7, and you can see that God wants you to cast all your cares on Him because He cares for you. And that's as simple and as beautiful as it gets. You will never, ever, you hear me on this? You will never, ever have that opportunity, that deal presented to you from anybody else. There's not a human being on earth that wants to hear your problems, all of them. Not just what you think you can't deal with, not just the excess, not just when you're overloaded, all your problems. Now, God doesn't just want to hear, He wants to give you solutions. He wants to help. Give me everything, God says. That's how much I care about you. So it tells you too that nobody cares about you the way God does. Tell Him, talk to Him. Read examples of prayers. Read the psalmist who vents. Learn to do 1 Thessalonians 5:17. Terrible grammar. But learn to use that, apply that, to pray without ceasing. And again, another simple concept. Learn to get past these constraints that we sometimes put on ourselves of prayer, that they all have to be on bended knee and hands clasped and eyes closed and head bowed and all these other things. And they have to start with dear God and so forth. And we make them so formal sometimes that we feel like we can't just at any moment speak to God and say, thank you. Thank you for my job. Thank you for my family. At the moment we think of it, or there's somebody in need, please be with this person in this way. Or I'm frustrated, and just tell God about it. That's praying without ceasing. You're starting to get into that mentality because God cares about you and He wants to know. He's not ever going to make this face. He's not ever going to look away while you're talking to Him, waiting to get away from you. You've been dealt with like that, right? I have, and I've done that to other people. God never is going to do that. But talk to Him. Let Him know. You don't have, James 4 says, and I can go all over the place. You don't have because you don't ask, you don't talk, you don't share. People wonder why their marriages go down the drain, and it's a sad thing. Because as somewhere along the way, they stop talking. They stop going to each other with their dreams and goals and problems and corrections and frustrations and all those things. Secondly, is to listen. How am I going to listen to God? And there are a variety of ways. The one way I know for sure is right here. He has written you a letter. Let me see how I want to go about this. He's written you a letter, literally. I'm not just trying to make this more attractive. He has literally written you a letter. He's written this to me. He had you in mind, me and every other human being that He wants to take advantage and have what's contained in here. And you think about how useful this is, it feels like to generations, not just young generations, but to my generation and even some that are older, that all the answers are somewhere else, in some other book, in some other person, in some other product that we can buy. And the answers are here. Let me show you. In 2 Peter chapter 3 and verse 1, His divine power. I got to take just a moment and say, go to 1 Corinthians chapter 2 and watch how this came about. This book, it was because God, His Spirit, gave us His mind. Nobody knows God like His Spirit. Nobody knows you like your spirit, me like my spirit. And God gave us of His Spirit. His Spirit guided these people to write, and now we have this letter. It looks like books. It's really 66 chapters in one book. And He says, through that divine power, He has granted to us all things, not some, not just spiritual things, all things that pertain to life and godliness. This is your manual on how to live, how to be godly. Anything and everything you could ever need to know is right here. If you never learn another book, if you never get any degree, whatever the case, if you fail all your other classes and you pass this, then you have won. You have accomplished. You've been successful. He's given us everything that pertains to life and godliness through the knowledge of Him who called us to His own glory and excellence. Read. It's as simple as that. Read. This is a love letter from God, right? I used to get them from Laura back in 93, 94, 95, when she lived 2 hours away and we were dating. She's now my wife. This girl was out of my league. Let's just leave it at that. I knew she was. I'd always felt like she was. Didn't even think I had a chance with this girl. And now she is dating me and she's writing letters and she's pouring out her heart. So I get these letters in the mail. How do I treat them? Well, they smell like she does. They remind me of her. It's something to get a letter in the mail with your name on it from a person that you're so interested in. It's just a different experience than a text or an email or a chat or whatever else it is. So you get this letter. How do you think I treated it? You think I limited myself and I said, you know what? Every day for 2 minutes, I'm going to read this letter. They were fairly long. Let me read 2 minutes today and 2 minutes tomorrow and 2 minutes the next day. Yeah, you know, I read it as fast as I could. And I read it not just once, over and over and over. And I saved them so I could read them again and would go back to them over and over and over till you could just about memorize. And I never once thought, well, I'll read a paragraph here, and then I'll read a paragraph here, and then I'll read a paragraph here, and I'll read a paragraph. You understand what I'm saying? Read it. You got to see God as loving you, as the one with which you want to have a relationship above all people. It does take work to get there. I know that, I understand that. But if you can get there, you will appreciate. Keep reading and see how much he loves. Keep reading and see how much he offers. Keep reading and see how great he is. And the more you read, the more it comes across like this letter and like a mystery novel where you just want to find more and more. And you just have to trust that. And if you will try it, if you'll just read, and if you use your spare time to read, shut the stinking phone off, shut off the computer and the TV and whatever else, and just read. Listen to it. Now they've got it where they got some dude reading it to you. Listen to it. And one of them was like James Earl Jones, like the voice of Darth Vader. And that's something to hear that guy read the Bible. But you can listen to it while you're driving. There's so many ways to ingest this now. Try it. Listen to God. Talk to God. You want to have a successful relationship with him? You want to have a successful relationship with anyone? Listen to them, talk to them, communicate. I guarantee you it will be fulfilling beyond what I can even explain to you. 2 aspects to a great relationship. 2 reasons why you're probably missing out is because you forgot about the basics. You forgot that these things matter. 2 reasons why everyday Christianity doesn't appeal to you and you want these bigger experiences is because you're not meeting him. You're not communicating with him on a daily basis. He will not let you down. I guarantee. I hope this video helps. I hope that it will cause you to think about your study life. It makes me think about mine. I'm not sitting back here from some high up position and saying, this is what I've tried and seen that it works, and if you bums will do like me. Not at all. I should be an expert in the Bible by now with 30 plus years in relationship with God. And I've got a lot of work still to do. I should have a prayer life beyond all others, but I'm growing in it, but I've got more improvement to make there. There are days when I leave God to the side. I'm ashamed to say it, but I come back to him and I think, oh, I can't believe I haven't talked to you yet, or I can't believe, and so the apologies and the confessions begin and so forth. It does take work. It is difficult. God is not here with us where we can enjoy him in the same way we can enjoy one another. I hope this helps. If it does, like it. It just gives us a little bit of boost. If there are some questions, if there are some comments, if there are additions that you'd like to make, your own thoughts, share them in the comments. Drop down below, put those there. Let us see what you're thinking. If you have suggestions for future videos along the same lines or even something completely different, get in touch. If you have complaints about it, get in touch. We try to do this every Monday and Friday, so you can look for videos there. The way to keep up with that is to subscribe. That helps us out, and we're not just trying to grow a channel. We really are trying. I am trying to help people. So is C, our main guy behind the scenes. But in wanting to do that, to subscribe and to help grow the channel and get the word out, it all helps as well. It also will give you an opportunity to keep up and see what's going on. Not all the videos are going to be applicable, but hopefully here and there we'll hit some things that'll really help you where you are in your journey, in your quest for greatness. I'm Zach. Thank you for the time. I'm out. Take 3. The first one I sat down to do, I have 2 points. 2. And the first one I sat down to do was 25 minutes. I just got done with the second one. 17 minutes. I have to learn to stop and not try to dump everything on you all at one time. Let's try it again. Romans 8 tells me, how does it take an hour to get 8 to 10 minutes worth of video, and I still didn't get 8 to 10 minutes worth of video. I got 13 plus minutes. See, you're still gonna have to edit. It's 5:30 on Sunday. We gotta kick this thing out by Monday. My apologies. I am going to learn to shut up, and the people who are here and hear me preach and teach from week to week will appreciate that much more. It's probably gonna get unlocked first. It helps. It's probably gonna get really windy here, but man, sunshine. It's been raining for days and days, and I have made a promise that the first person I hear says, we need rain, we need the rain, I'm going to slap. Anyway, some of this maybe you can use. You guys have a good day.